Hi, I'm Giulia. Welcome to my kitchen again. Today we're going to make a Bolognese sauce, which is a very classic northern sauce, and love it because it's so versatile. You can use it for a lot of different things, and it's one of the very favorites of my family. Let's get on with it, giving you the ingredients. You're going to need, for the amount that we're going to do, we're probably using today just a little bit less than 2 pounds of meat. I'm using beef, a mixture of beef and pork chopped. And we also, and that's for the meat. The vegetables we're going to use are an onion, a small onion, 1 carrot, 1 stalk of celery, a bunch of parsley, just a little bit of rosemary, and some garlic. Maybe if it's a big clove, just 1. If they're small like mine, I'm using like a couple of them. Okay, then salt, pepper, and nutmeg. And then we're going to need the sauce, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, the tomatoes. Okay, let's chop the vegetables for now. I'm trying to make this as small as possible because we want them to integrate well with the sauce. I just remembered something, which every time I make this sauce, I'll remember things. I learned it I found it in a magazine, and it was just that time that I started helping my mother cook, and so I asked if I could try the recipe. And she was a little bit, oh, it's different, we don't like that. But I said, look, let's just try and see what happens. And sure enough, from the very first time we tried this sauce, it became one of our favorites. And ever since then, it's been one of those things. And as the years have gone by, I've realized that it's a very favorite of a lot of people and a lot of cultures. So yeah, it's a great sauce. Hopefully you'll get to make it as many times as I do. And I make it pretty often, especially with my family. And I get company, and I get always parties in my house. Yeah, it's a staple, definitely. Couple of more things and we'll be done. Parsley. I'm going to put just a little bit of rosemary because it's a very strong herb, and I just like a hint of it in the sauce. If you do not care for the flavor, you don't have to put it in. It's kind of optional. Okay, but I'm going to chop this one very, very fine also, so we won't be able to really see it. Just a little bit. Okay, now the garlic, I'm going to put it in my garlic press. We'll do it faster. Okay, that's it. Okay, we're ready to start this. So we're going to put a little bit of oil, maybe a couple of tablespoons, not too much, just enough so the vegetables will be able to brown. And because the pan is pretty warm, this oil should be hot. Put all the vegetables in. And we're going to stir them nicely. Put a little bit of salt so they sweat faster. Just maybe a 1/4 teaspoon. You just have to wait a couple of minutes until the vegetables are nice and brown. Oh, kind of. Getting along pretty well. Couple more minutes and it should be ready. Once we brown the meat, you can add either some cream after you let the sauce cook for a while with the tomatoes and stuff, and then you can add some cream. But if you there's people that had cream and there's people that had wine. I'm going to do the wine. So what you want to do is actually add it right after the meat is brown. You add some wine or you let it evaporate, and then you put the tomatoes and finish cooking it. Ready to put the meat inside. So it's kind of separated a little bit. We'll finish separating it after it's in there. You want the fire to be pretty lively at this point. You don't want it to steam. So I raised up the... Keep breaking it up so that it kind of gets smooth and mixed with vegetables. You don't want big chunks. Now we're going to finish adding the rest of the spices. We're going to put the pepper. Nutmeg. And I like to use freshly grind one because it's got a different flavor. And you don't need too much of this, really, just a hint of it, because it's, again, this is another very strong spice. You don't want to overdo it. And then we're going to add some salt. Again, probably for the time being, maybe a half a teaspoon, and then we'll check later to make sure we don't need any more. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually add a little mortadella, which is kind of an Italian bologna. You could add ham, whatever you have, or you don't have to, really. It just adds a little bit more depth, more flavor, more layers to the sauce. So we'll just do this quickly because this does not really need to cook. A couple of minutes, not even. With the mortadella, now I'm going to add some wine. Maybe a half a cup. Okay. We'll let that cook for a couple of minutes. Yeah. Then as soon as this is ready, I'm going to add the tomatoes. I bought peeled tomatoes, but I'm going to kind of puree them. My family doesn't like to find pieces of tomatoes in the sauce. So anyway, it's a 28 ounces can, and I'm also going to add a tablespoon of tomato paste, because it just gives it a better texture and thickens the sauce. Okay. This is ready. The wine is almost completely evaporated, but you want to leave it a little bit. You don't have to wait until everything is gone. Now I'm adding the pureed tomatoes, and I'm going to put a good tablespoon of tomato paste. And again, now probably going to need a little bit of a liquid. You can add broth if you want. Right now I don't have any at hand, so I'm going to rinse that container that I had the tomatoes in, and just add it to the sauce. Okay, and then once it gets to boil, I'm going to raise the temperature right now because it had gotten very low. Bring it to boil and then let it cook very gently for about maybe 45 minutes to 1 hour. Doesn't need more than that. Okay, and this is the Bolognese sauce. Okay, let's see. Yes, this sauce looks great. It's ready to go. So, yeah, enjoy it. We're going to enjoy it with fresh noodles tonight, egg noodles. But, you know, you can do anything you want. All kind of pasta, lasagna, you name it. That sauce is good for it. Okay? Enjoy it.
What are you fixing, Vito?
The leftover from last night.
Ah, nice.
I got some ham, you know, the string beans, or potatoes.
Beautiful.
Amazing.